Good afternoon, good day, good night, and good time of the day to all of you, and welcome back to the Practical Weapons channel. Haven't been making videos recently, had to deal with the health issue, which is now can be considered over. And no more live spiders in my house, hopefully. Anyway, cold steel. As you can see, everything on this table is actually a cold steel product, from two comparison fixed blades to their large folders. I have obtained several new blades from cold steel, new for me. They're not necessarily new models. And I wanted to share with you, as you are all my viewers, presumably. And some of you are maybe even subscribers. Cold steel is known for making large folders, and they have them in humongous sizes. I don't even have their largest one. My largest is the Luzon. They have 6-inch blades. On other knives they have larger blades. The Spartan XL is a very large folder. So today let's take a look at what I have in my collection, and just for comparison, I have the basic SK5 Recon Tanto, just for size comparison, and the drop forged cold steel boot knife. By the way, very excellent blade in its niche. So let's start from small to the large. One of my new acquisitions is the Voyager 3. This is actually most likely going to be an addition into my EDC pile of knives, of which quite a few of them have been on EDC on this table. So this is one of their somewhat newer collection. And I even have the box. I actually saved the boxes for most of my knives, just in case. Though it seems not all of them. As you can see, they're making AUS 10 blades right now. Cold steel once again changed the blade steel they use. So their new blades are in AUS 10. Again, some of them. They have better blades, they have worse blades as far as materials. But this is a very nice, somewhat petite knife for cold steel. And this is the smallest of the Rajahs. It is 3.5-inch blade, which makes it carryable in many areas that restrict 4-inch blades to those with a carry license, such as in Florida. 4-inch and above, you have to have the concealed carry license to carry. I do, so I can carry anything. And I have carried Spartan for years, which is a much bigger blade. Rajah obviously is smaller, and you will see that. In comparison to the boot knife, of course it is smaller, but overall they're actually very comparable size-wise. As you can imagine, handles on the fixed blades are not necessarily quite as large as required on the folders. Triad lock, AUS 10, a very nice knife. A very light knife too, which I would wait, but honestly, you can find all the specifications online if you actually choose to. It has the same mechanism that allows you to open it by touching the pocket, or by using the sharp motion that cold steel allows for their blades. Sometimes it is kind of hard to do it sitting down, but this is the next blade that I bought. I might have made a video on it already, maybe not. This is the SR1 Lite with the Tanto blade. I do have its box. 4-inch blade, slightly longer. As you can see, this is actually already bigger than the boot knife in size. And it's the second smallest on this table, as we are going to see in a short moment. This is the lower end knife from steel perspective, 8CR13 MOV. Chinese steel, obviously. Made in Taiwan. So Republic of China, but not the People's Republic of China. I bought it after watching cold steel test video comparing it to Colombian River knife. So this knife actually survived quite a bit of power applied to it. Triad locks. The handle is made of Greave X, which is this material right here. I guess it's on most of these blades. Overall length 9.38 of an inch. And of course it is very thick. As you can see on your video, it is much thicker, visibly much thicker than the Raja 3 at least. Which also makes it a little bit heavier, but still very usable. I wore Sardi's large gloves, so these grips are perfect for my hand. Next purchase was a new generation of the Spartan. Gen 3 or Gen 4. I have the previous one, and now I have the new one. Got it on sale from Midway USA, which I cannot provide a link to because they sell guns, but 60 bucks. It is much less expensive than the older Spartan, which is made of CTS BD1 steel back then. This one is made of AUS 10, a blade, 4.5 inch, so definitely need to have a license if you have those kind of laws in your state. 4mm thickness of the blade, which is interesting. It is actually thinner than the SR1. See, 4.8. So we can compare that in a moment as well, just visibly. I'm not going to twist open or swing open this blade here. It looks thick, but it is thinner by almost a millimeter than the SR1, which is something to consider. Obviously it is a much bigger blade, but still fits my hand very nicely. And I personally like how Spartan works in the reverse hand. Again, I do have a little bit of a training on knife, both in the Korean and other Middle Asian or Asian styles, seminars mostly. And this is my original Spartan, the one I carried for years actually. As you can see, the blade needs to be cleaned up. All kinds of gunk have been cleaned out of this blade. Interestingly enough, they look to be almost the same thickness, even though the steel is very different. You can see the finish is different also between the blades, but now I have two Spartans. So if I wanted to do two-handed, I can. And followed by the next. By the Spartans are very iconic knives from cold steel. Before I go, let's look in the comparison. Let's make a comparison. Let's look at the two different Spartans next to a fully sized Recon Tanto from cold steel. This is the SK5 model. I do have the original ones, just not on the table right now. As you can see, Spartan when open is shorter than Recon Tanto, but not by much. Maybe an inch, which is something to say. This is not a small blade. So I would consider anything Spartan and higher are the full-sized folding blades. They provide you full functionality. Their blades might be shorter, obviously, in some cases, but it is a fully functional knife. For whatever purpose you need a knife for, these should be able to suffice your needs. Next one is, as usual, I like Tantos. Voyager XL Tanto. Older model, I've had it for quite a while. This is not my only Voyager, but this is the longest one. I have the regular Voyager in my collection as well. As you can see, this thing is already much larger than, let's say, in comparison to a Spartan. Why is it much larger? Well, most of it is because of the blade. And the blade here is over 5-inch length, 5¼ versus 4½ on the Spartan. And this should compare very well to the Recon Tanto. And you can see that they're literally the same length. Let me move these blades to the side so that you can actually see the comparison. Let me change this over. I know this is just an overall impressions video, just to show how big folders from cold steel could be and are, at least for those that are in my collection. You can see this? I hope you can, because they're almost the full length of my ruler. 11½ inches on both of them, and 7-inch blade on the Recon Tanto, which is a little dangerous, and 5½ inch on the Voyager XL. And the largest of the folders that I own, which by the way has a original, somewhat weaker lock than the Triad, is the Luzon, which by the way is also one of the less expensive cold steel folders. It's I call it almost a two-handed folder. I can fit both of my hands on this knife. What the purpose of that be, I have no idea, but this is also made of the lower end Chinese steel, stainless, same as the SR1 Lite. And that probably explains why this is only $40, while some of these are considerably more expensive. Made in China, actually, not Taiwan, made in China. I did not know until I saw this blade originally that cold steel actually had blades made in China. Taiwan, yes. Japan, yes. China, I did not know. Well, now I do. So this is the comparison to the Recon Tanto in size. You can see, hopefully you can see, or you will see in a moment, just how much of a difference there is between these two knives in length by me moving things into your vision. See this? This is a folder. This is a full-sized fixed blade. This is a medium-sized, well, medium to small. Look at this thing next to it. Tiny. So this thing is huge. I do not know how big the Spartan XL is. Wouldn't surprise me. Voyager 1 as well. All of those super duper extra large folders that cold steel made or makes even now. I don't know if that will continue, because most of these are the ideas of Mr. Lin. Now that he sold cold steel to another company, will it continue the same way? Nobody knows. Hopefully, but I have my doubts. Still, we enjoyed it while we could, and some of these are still available for purchase. New generation, new steel. And this represents just how big folders were a staple of cold steel production in that particular niche. Now other companies are moving into the industry or into the large folder market, and hopefully we'll see better blades, more choice, and opportunities for us and for them. So that's the end of this somewhat short video. I like cold steel folders. I don't know if they're gonna make new ones that are worth purchasing. Well, at least I bought 3 recently, mostly to stay on the cold steel. These are my somewhat recent purchases. This thing has been on my pocket for years and requires a lot of cleaning sometimes. Florida. This one might be on my pocket again. Most my pants and shorts, they all have a knife on them. I don't move knives between different clothing most of the time. It depends on the weather and on what it is I'm going to wear. This guy and this guy are definitely going into my EDC pile. Raja probably first. So, thank you for watching. Hopefully this was somewhat interesting. I might go into cold steel fixed blades because I have a lot of them. Cold steel is, or was, one of my most favorite manufacturers. In addition to K-Bar, Colombian River, Ontario Knives. I own a lot of Kershaw blades, trade blades. I might do a video on each of the manufacturer because I can show a lot of different blades from each company. So if that is interesting, please write a comment below. If not, please write a comment below, click like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.